What is mastery? Hey, MzeroA Nation, Jason Shapper here, MzeroA.com, and you are listening to the Commercial Pilot Podcast brought to you by our brand spanking new LMS that I'm sure you've heard. I'm super proud of it. I'm super proud of what our team has worked to accomplish, and even better things coming soon. You can check all that out at MzeroATrial.com to learn more. And a big principle, a big proponent behind all of this, and a question I've been asking and we get asked is, what is mastery? We talk about this idea, this notion of aviation mastery, and I want to share with you all a little bit on what that really means, what it means to us, what it should mean to you in your flying. And I imagine, by the way, if you are listening to this, you probably also listen to the CFI podcast, which will come out after this. You probably listen to maybe even the Private the Instrument Pod podcast. You might produce 4 podcasts in total. And you know, and you've heard me talk about the aviation mastery method. And I just did a great in-flight coffee on that not too terribly long ago. It would have been the 20th? Go look at August 20th on Facebook. August 20th, 2021 on Facebook, I talked about the ideal flight lesson, the ideal ground lesson, shared some of the science of learning. But today I want to just dive a little bit further into this topic of what is mastery. Because there's one of 2 reasons you're perhaps becoming a commercial pilot. One, and perhaps the most common, is you're becoming a commercial pilot because, well, you want to treat aviation as your career. And this is the stepping stone to become the flight instructor you want to be, the airline captain you desire to be, the charter captain you desire to be, whatever that is. Some of you, and many ground school members come to mind when I say this as well, are just becoming a commercial pilot because a good pilot is always learning. And it's just one little feather in your cap. It's another way to take it a step further and continue the learning process. Whatever it is for you, it's important to understand what is mastery. And we have a lot of catchy ways to say mastery. You've heard me say this before. And I want to break it down because it comes off as a catchy kind of marketing slogan, but it's not meant to be that. I've been saying so often that mastery is a quest, not a score on a test. And I realize it rhymes, and that's why I say it sounds like a cute little marketing slogan and everything else, but mastery is a quest, not a score on a test is so true, because something else you hear me say often is, I am not in the business of just you all passing your written test and going about your day, passing your check ride and just moving on. I am about the journey, and MzeroA is about you and your spouse going on a flight together and you having the utmost confidence and your spouse the utmost confidence in you and your education and your skills. Or you with 300 revenue-paying passengers sitting behind you when you've got that dream job. That's the journey I'm after. Congratulations, you passed your written test. Let me tell you something, you're going to pass your written test. You're going to pass your commercial pilot written test here relatively soon if you haven't already. And I will also tell you, the average ground school member scores 6 points higher. The average MzeroA ground school member, this is, I've got the data to back this up, scores 6 points higher on their knowledge test than the national average. Now, by now, you've also heard the saying, and there's some truth to it, that the higher the score on the knowledge test, typically the easier the check ride can be. Typically. Results not typical, right? That happens sometimes, but we want to do better on these. And you are going to do phenomenal on your written test. You're going to pass your check ride first time very, very easily. Because you're not prepping for the check ride. One thing I'm trying to get better at is I'm trying to remove the saying that I used to say so often is like, you need to remember this for your check ride. You need to know this for your check ride. And I get it. There are some things you just need to know for your check ride. And I'm trying to interrupt that pattern and get away from primacy and recency of saying such a statement, because I worry when I say the statement, you need to know this for your check ride, you just cue into rote memorization. I'm just going to memorize this for my check ride. And that's not what I want. I don't want you to just memorize things for your check ride. I want you to learn beyond the check ride, beyond the ACS, beyond what any book has to say, beyond what the FAA has to say. I mean, there's no secret about it. I read every comment, every review, every little ticket that comes in. I know we are the most expensive course on the market. I know we are the longest course time-wise. I mean, our private pilot course alone, maybe you remember it, is 27 hours. Like, that's a monster. That's video only. It doesn't include your quizzes and everything else. Like, it's a monster course. And it's a funny story. Many years ago now, so this is even a private pilot course version before the current 27-hour version that's out, a gentleman reached out. And I see all the nice people, I see the mean people too, and the sport tickets and the comments come in, it's okay. A gentleman reached out and said he wanted his money back. He was very, very upset. He said, I'm trying to think to put it in nicer terms than he did. Basically, to summarize it, he said, the test was way easier than you made it to be, and you made me study way more than I should have. And I said, wait a second, he's got to be sarcastic, right? And we had some back and forth, and he was genuinely asking for a refund because we over-prepared. I thought he was joking. He is pulling our leg. He's being sarcastic. He was genuinely upset that we taught him too much. I will issue that refund all day. Someone who, that's an individual who doesn't get this idea of mastery. That's an individual who is just looking to pass the test. Mastery is a quest. It is a never-ending journey. There is always more to know. There is always more to learn. I am always learning something. I am always diving in the books. I am opening up the FAR-AIM and seeing things like it's the first time I've seen it. And you all look at me like I know so much. And let me tell you something, I don't know as much as I wish I did. I am always learning. I am always trying to go above and beyond. And I hope you all, and I'm not bragging on myself, I'm just telling you that so you understand that a good pilot is truly always learning. Mastery is a quest, not a score and a test. I am very proud of you for the 90-something% you're going to get, maybe even 100. We have a few aces as ground school members and alumni. But you're going to score in the 90s. I have no doubt in my mind. Pat yourself on the back, celebrate a day, and then it's on to the next thing. It's on to learning the next thing. You see, you cannot afford to plateau. You are studying right now, or currently are, a commercial pilot. You're held to the highest standard unless you pursue ATP and go on further from there. But you see, learning, unfortunately, if you can picture this, and I talk about this in Aviation Mastery, the book, learning looks like a lowercase n, where time is on the bottom scale, and on the vertical scale, we have new knowledge acquired. So as soon as we go, new knowledge, this is awesome, we get to the top of the N, and we kind of peak, and then from there, as time continues, we stop learning new material. I mean, better yet, you'd plateau. I mean, a plateau would be better than just to stop learning, at least be stagnant in your learning. If you're on a Zoom, I've done quite a few big public Zoom events, especially with COVID and all the craziness and such, just to be back out face-to-face with some of you all. And I was sharing a lot about these ideas of plateaus and just peaking, only learning to your CFI's capacity. If you become stagnant, if you hit these plateaus, you're going to drop into a valley. Turn your plateaus into peaks. That's what we spoke about in In-Flight Coffee not too terribly long ago. And that's what I need you working towards. Mastery means you are operating at a higher level. And I don't mean just in aviation. I mean your life in general. I need to be on my soapbox for just a second here. And I apologize. This is very much aviation related. And I share this. I don't think any other instructors ever talk about such a thing, at least publicly, but I want to share this with you because it's truly so important. When I say mastery, I mean mastery in your life as well. When I say mastery in your life, I mean I saw friend after friend. When I was in aviation college, and I had a few stints around a few aviation colleges. When I was in any of those aviation colleges, I watched friend after friend wash out of the program or get politely asked to leave the program because of poor choices that some college kids make. I'm talking underage drinking, drinking under the influence, racing cars. I had a I'll call him an acquaintance, I wouldn't dare call him a buddy, all politely asked to leave the aviation program. And these guys and gals were, and there were ladies too, were working on commercial. Some were even CFIs, already had a job at the flight school, the collegiate flight school there. And I just thought, like, you've invested so much money. And here they are walking away with the debt and walking away with a few certificates and really kissing their aviation dreams goodbye because of poor decisions. I don't know what season of life you're in, but if you are thinking of a career in aviation, you have to think mastery in all things. You know, your aircraft insurance also looks at, and this is whether you just want to just buy an SR-22 one day or go on to fly for some Part 91, Subchapter K, you know, a wealthy family or something like that, fly their family jet around. Insurance, aviation insurance, also looks at your driving record because they look and say, if you can be reckless in a car, why wouldn't you be reckless also in a plane? So they're going to look for things like speeding. They're going to look for things like under the influence. They're going to look at all these things. You have to live your life above bar. I'm not like a teetotaler here condoning alcohol or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I am just saying here, you need to add mastery, not just to your aviation life, but to your life in general as well. If this is something you choose to pursue, and even if it's not a career for you, hopefully just the fact that being a bad driver can shoot up the cost of your airplane insurance would be enough to make you just reel it in a little bit with that. You must live your life at that higher level. So I want to ask you a question now. Why are you, and let me know in the comments below. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, there's comments. If you're listening on Audible or iTunes, hey, throw us a 5-star review. Thank you for that. And leave this answer as a review, because I read all the reviews too. Why are you becoming a commercial pilot? Follow that up. What's your motivation? Why are you becoming a commercial pilot, and what is your motivation? You see, when you know your why are you doing this? When you know and understand your why, when the plateaus come, when the valleys come, when the friends invite you out for a crazy night or whatever it is, right? You're going to remember, why am I doing this? What is my motivation? And I hope that will give you the power to stay the course with all of this, because that's really what it comes down to. And maybe you've already who's had some of those valleys already in flight training? I know I have. Never forget, I'll continue to share this story until the day I retire, and then maybe after that a little bit. My very first instructor, she's unfortunately since passed away and never got to see what I became, and I regret that. But one of the very first, she was my best instructor I ever had. But she exercised tough love and one day said to me, Jason, maybe you're not meant to be a pilot. I mean, just saying it now still kind of, I can go back to, 16-year-old Jason and think back to how that felt. And I remember I went home and just cried. And it was my parents, right, who told me, like, Jason, this is your dream. You can't give up on your dream just because someone said something you didn't like, because life is tough and people are always going to say things you don't like. And maybe it was from a place of love and not from a place of just being rude or angry or from discouragement. Maybe it was from a place of motivation instead. And maybe her way of motivating is different than how you would have liked it, but we still have to turn everything into glory and into good in all we do. There'd be a light in everything that we really do and choose to see that good. So I'll ask you one more time. Why are you becoming a commercial pilot, and what's your motivation? Is it for the kids? Is it for your kids you don't even have yet so they have a great life? Is it for your family? Is it for your spouse? Is it just to make aviation better? I need Maybe you've read the book, very famous book by Simon Sinek, Start With Why. The premise of the whole book, right? It's all, what is the motivation behind it? He uses it with a business analogy, right? And how many companies their why is to make more money, but that's not a strong enough why. Your why, and then even a why to say to change the world is not a clear enough why. You have to define it even that much more thoroughly. And most importantly, your motivation may not make any sense to me because it's your motivation. As long as it's what lights you up, as long as it gets you out of bed on those early mornings and keeps you going on those late nights, as long as it's your motivation and does that for you, who am I to judge what your motivation is, right? My motivation is every podcast, every video, every webinar, every in-flight coffee is to save one life. And some people might say, that's a silly goal. How can you ever measure that? I can't. To quote another Simon Sinek book, it's an infinite game. It's self-perpetuating. It never ends, right? There's always someone else to help. Now, I could be naive to say I want to take the NTSB accident statistics to 0. I think that's an unachievable goal. It's an audacious goal, but it's an unachievable goal. Your motivation needs to be plain, simple, and have deep, deep meaning to you. That's the secret. And here we are talking in the commercial pilot setting. This could be for flight instructors. This could be, I hope there's private pilots listening to this right now. What's your motivation? Why are you doing this? And when you know that, the valleys aren't so deep. The plateaus don't seem so long. When you know who you're doing this for and why you're doing it. MzeroA Nation, we do all this for you. We do this to help make you safer, smarter pilots, and to save just one life every episode. And I don't know who that is, right? I may never know who that is. And you may never know that either. And that is A-okay. Because we just have such a mission just placed on our hearts to make aviation safer and smarter. We are a give first type community, a give first type business. We believe to be blessed, you need to be a blessing. And that's true of life. You want to be loved, give love first. You want to be successful, help others find success. And all these free podcasts, all these free videos, giving away the free trials to our ground school, all that is on that premise of help others find success, and then success will come back to us. And I will just tell you, it's an incredible full circle opportunity to be able to serve you all. I truly mean it. You all are our family, and family takes care of family. If there's anything at all we can do to better serve you this week, this month, this year, please, please, please don't hesitate to reach out. Have a blessed, amazing, outstanding rest of your day, and most importantly, remember that a good pilot is always learning. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you.